suppressive person declare against you?
That's correct. That's basically the
That sounds bad.
Yeah, that's basically the thing that goes out to anyone and everyone who's in Scientology saying this person is a suppressive person and you can no longer speak to him ever again if you're
And everybody takes it seriously.
Oh, absolutely. If you're in Scientology and you speak to somebody who's a suppressive person, you yourself can be declared a suppressive
How are
person.
they retaliating against you now?
Well, first of all, when I left, they gave me a bill for, it's there, but they gave me a bill for $62,000.
The freeloader statement?
The freeloader statement. They basically said, now that you've left, granted, I worked there for 15 years. I was paid $29,000 for the entire 15 years I worked there. And then as soon as I leave...
Are they taking you to court for this, $62,000?
They're charging you for courses.
It's actually illegal because they're basically charging me for on-the-job training. In California, you can't charge somebody for on-the-job training.
So it's of no real value.
No, it's of no real value. But you don't know that when you're in Scientology. You think that this is like, are they going to garnish my wages? Are they going to sue me? You don't know.
But I hear they do forms of harassment.
Absolutely.
Private investigator type of harassment.
Absolutely.
Are you dealing with that?
I've dealt with that. They've had people at my house, watching my house. They've had people following me, taking my kids to school. They've contacted my employees at my business that I'm a anti-religious extremist and a member of an internet hate group. And
how do you explain this to people?
Most of the people know. They know me, so it's almost like one of those things. Like it's just laughable when they say these things. Like, oh, this guy is the leader of an internet hate group. What are you talking
everybody
about?
at your kid's school, they understand what.
Yeah, the people that I deal with and the people that I work with, they understand the situation and they think that it's just insane. So,
do you fear that they might kill you? Do they do that sort of thing?
Yeah, for a time. I had actually written a will, and I've actually done a declaration saying that if I accidentally get killed or something, then I didn't actually, commit suicide or something like that. I've never had a car accident. I've never had thoughts of this. So I've actually written all these things legally so that if something does happen to me,
do you think it's happened to others who've left?
There's definitely stories of it. I know that they have an intelligence arm of Scientology that rivals governments. They actually, a lot of people, some of this stuff's not new news, but the Scientology organization was convicted in 1979 and charged for conducting the largest infiltration of the U.S. government in its history.
Really?
You can Google it. It's called Operation Snow White. 11 Scientology officials were convicted of obstructing justice, burglary of government offices, and the theft of documents and government property.
Are they going to come after us just for interviewing you?
Probably. Who knows? No, I don't. I doubt.
Then you'll have to go now.
Yeah.
No. Your website, blownforgood.com, where people can check out the book and even order it. It's got an address in there. Is that?
It's a mailing address.
Oh, hopefully it is. Yes, you have a wife and a couple of kids, right?
Yeah, I have a wife and I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old son.
And she was at the Scientology Center too.
She was, and in the book I explain once I got out, they actually made efforts to make it so that I wouldn't be able to contact her in any way. And she actually very sneakily got a message to me through one of her relatives who did not know that I was gone yet. This is before they had contacted her family. Mm-hmm. And I tell the entire story of her escape, because not only did they try to intercept me when I left, but even weeks later when she tried to leave and tried to reconnect up with me, they intercepted her as well and tried to drag her back.
Right. When we come back, I want to talk about how we ended up being in the
dedication
here.
After Conan O'Brien.
Absolutely.
Along with Depeche Mode.
Yeah. And before Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
And we'll also talk about some of the numbers, the claims as to how many Scientology church members there are versus what you know.
Marc Headley, the book is called Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology. And if they don't come and kidnap us all, we'll be back in just a moment. On the John and Ken Show. The John and Ken Show, John Cobelt and Ken Shampoo. Marc Headley's with us. Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology is the book, blownforgood.com or amazon.com. And what are the promotion codes that you have?
The promotion code is KFI AM640. If you type that in at checkout, you'll get a special discount price, and that's for all the KFI listeners. I don't know if it's up yet, but it'll be up in the next half hour or so.
All right.
Now, in the dedication of the book, we're mentioned Conan O'Brien first, and then it says John and Ken on KFI AM 640 in Los Angeles for being who you are and slowly deprogramming me daily over a 2-year period. You guys opened my eyes to what was happening all around me. Explain that a bit.
What effect could we have on you trapped inside the Scientology prison?
The Village Voice called us a comedy duo.
Yeah, I don't know about that part, but I thought it was funny when you were talking about it. But basically, when you're there, you don't have any exposure to outside media except for like a USA Today or whatever magazines you're getting in the mail. But even if if there's an article in Rolling Stone magazine that's got something that's negative about Scientology, you don't get Rolling Stone. Right. That's not going to. You're not going to get that issue. So you don't.
USA Today doesn't write anything.
No.
So they censor you.
Well, that's a great endorsement of USA Today. Safe for Scientologists.
Yeah.
Shows you how captivating that paper is.
So there's not really any access to what's going on out the outside world, and as well, you don't get any negative things on Scientology whatsoever. So even if on TV Tom Cruise does an appearance or Kirstie Alley's on this show or John Travolta's on this show, they'll record all those over a period of time, and then they'll recut those things. So if it says like Tom Cruise, biggest movie star in the world, goes crazy on Oprah's couch, they'll cut it into clips. So the only part we'll hear is, and these will be played to all the staff there. We'll all gather in the dining hall and we'll watch these videos, and that clip will be cut to Tom Cruise, biggest movie star in the world. You won't hear the next part where he went crazy on Oprah's couch. So.
We've almost never discussed Scientology, so what good were we?
Well, it wasn't even about Scientology. It was just about what's happening in the world. There's a lot of times when you guys talk about certain people have rights and, you can't do this or you can do that, or, this is crazy. How could this be happening? And, it was just opening my mind to what's actually going on in the real world. And then also that somebody could be critical of something and nothing happened to that person. So, you guys are really critical on certain subjects, and you speak out about it, you speak your mind, and nothing happens.
Not yet.
So I've been programmed all this time that if I were to say anything critical or I were to rebel or fight the system, then I'm going to get knocked down. And at the same time, I'm going like, well, these guys are almost promoting that. They're almost, making that something that's a worthwhile thing to do to fight for certain things.
So there were no bans on receiving radio broadcasts.
Well, see, this is the thing. When you're there, they promote and they basically tell people you need to listen to L. Ron Hubbard cassettes or L. Ron Hubbard CDs. So I had a little cassette Walkman, and I had a little L. Ron Hubbard tape in it, but I had it switched over to KFI. I wasn't listening to L. Ron Hubbard.
Stealth.
I was listening to KFI.
Well, I'm sure they've taken care of that now. Now, what did Conan O'Brien's influence?
Okay.
How did that work?
Similarly, you're not allowed to have TVs, and you're not allowed to watch TV, and that's very frowned upon at the headquarters there. But I did have a TV, and the place where I lived had a huge aerial on the top of it, and I could actually hook the TV up to the aerial. And if I got home early one night, we worked from 8 a.m. to 11:30 at night. So if I got home early, I might be able to catch Conan. So I every once in a while would turn it on, and I found it amusing. And several times, on the few times that I did see it, he would diss Tom Cruise, or he would diss Kirstie Alley, or he would make jokes about them. And here I was all this time seeing them only portrayed in a good light, and now all of a sudden I'm going, God, this guy's making jokes about these guys.
Was he making jokes about their Scientology beliefs, or just the obvious jokes you make about them?
I think both. I think even sometimes they would mention,
And this really shocked you.
It was like, oh my gosh, these guys are
jokes. He's been in there since he was 7, John.
These guys are jokes, and I'm going, and also it made it click for me that I'm not being shown the reality. I'm being shown what they want me to hear, what they want me to see. And that's why I kind of liken it to this Orwellian 1984 situation, because it's basically you're just being fed this propaganda and you're hearing what they want you to hear. So when I was hearing these things, that's when I was kind of like, okay, there's other things happening. I'm not getting the whole truth. And they don't, and not only am I not getting it, but they make a lot of effort to make sure you don't get it.
We don't have a lot of time to get into this part, but according to what you put in the book or what you said in interviews, the church may only have 10,000 members, where they claim millions, right?
Well, one of the things that you have to buy when you're in Scientology is what's called an E-meter. And this is something that's used in Scientology counseling. Okay, and not only are you supposed to have one e-meter, but you're also supposed to have a backup. So you're supposed to have 2. Every single Scientologist is supposed to have 2. Well, they produce these at Golden Air Productions, and
you made 30,000, right?
That's right. You made 30,000.
We're out of time for the rest of that story. That's a great story too, though. But Thanks for talking to us. Marc Headley, again, the website, blownforgood.com. The book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology. We appreciate the dedication, too.
Thank you. Thank you guys for everything you do, man.
And you can also get it at Amazon.com. News is coming up next. This is the John and Ken Show.